healthcare warriors. A big thank you. A pillar of strength like a tree cashew. Your work dynasty saving life fearlessly. I dedicated this line to all the dignitaries present among us. I, Faizan Sayyed, the host for the evening, feel very pleasure to welcome you all to the prestigious webinar. This webinar is designed to enhance and appreciate some wonderful personalities in the field of healthcare. Gautam Buddha has said, to keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our minds strong and clear. You all are the one who regulate his job of maintaining proper health among us. We all know the world is suffering from very tough days, and you all are every day putting efforts, determination, and courage to eradicate the current pandemic. Not only you, but your family members look towards you like pillars. Hence, we are the Golden Aim Awards, organized by Genetic Business Solutions, honoring you for the contribution in the field of healthcare. Once again, welcome you all to the most prestigious webinar. Now, I call upon Mr. Azharuddin Farooqi, co-founder and CEO, Genetic Business Solutions, and Managing Director of Pharma Global Management Services, to speak few words. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon to everyone present in today's webinar. I, Azharuddin Farooqi, CEO and co-founder of Denergic Business Solutions. It's both an honor and privilege to stand before you and welcome you all to this prestigious webinar, Golden Aim Conference and Awards. Doctors are considered next to God, and I express my gratitude to all the professionals present in today's webinar. And I like to thank the physicians and the healthcare professionals for your hard work and thoughtfulness. Commitment during this challenging time as they put their life on risk, hard work, and to serve their patients. And my company, Denergic Business Solutions, we provide solutions in various segments and sectors, such as garment business, real estate, healthcare management, fitness chain, fitness academies. We started our business in 2010 with this small warehouse in Mumbai, and with the team support, we built our chain national to international level. As nationally, we have chain in Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Bengaluru, Goa, and internationally we have Dubai, Oman, Malaysia, and Indonesia. And with the team support, hope to build more chain in future. Thank you for Golden Aim Awards team to give us a chance to be a partner of this in today's prestigious webinar. Healthcare professionals and thought leaders share their views and their knowledge. Thank you so much, and over to you, Professor.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wholehearted welcome. Now we move on to our conference ceremony. And I call upon our first respected speaker, Ms. Nazneen Hussain, Founder Director, Freedom Wellness Management, National Executive Committee Member, Indian Dietetic Association Mumbai Chapter, and Nutrition Advisor, INS Hamla, Naval Institute of Hospitality and Catering Technology. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much at the onset, Golden Aim Awards and all the organizers. I think it's a very, very good gesture to kind of install these awards, and it always feels nice to be recognized. So thank you, and I really appreciate. And so my topic today is going to be nutrition is paramount to health and well-being, and it's a very important transition actually, because today we are over with COVID. Almost, a whole lot of things are changing today, and many, we hear this term long COVID today. So a lot of things actually have changed in the last 3 years, and nutrition is somewhere becoming more and more important. But even then, just a little before that, when somebody asks, nutrition is a science, but on a other end, if somebody asks, this young girl who's in perfect shape, and even she went to see a mannequin, and she'd always feel inferior because the mannequin is 6 feet tall and has a waist of 23. So even if you ask Deepika Padukone today, probably she may not be as happy with her own body weight and body image, and that's where most of us stand. In fact, last year the Dubai government actually had this whole weight loss challenge, and they said that okay, the amount of pounds of weight that you lose, they will actually kind of help people endorse them in gold. And so this seems to be more and more of a challenge. And then of course media creates its own havoc with the weight loss and things like that. So the essential point here is that when we look at each of these things, we're looking at food intake, we're looking at good nutrition versus poor nutrition, and creating looking at how we can reduce the risk factors and increase productivity. Now this is a very, I put this on a very purposeful note, that the kind of garbage which comes out, whether it is dry garbage or wet garbage, actually kind of determines our health. So if you look at this is all the raw foods, fruits, vegetables. The more of that, if you see in your waste bin, you've fairly done a good job. And it summarizes nutrition, that eat your rainbow, eat your fiber, everything. If you look at this thing, then you've probably eaten a lot of inflammatory foods and a lot of foods which are high in fat, sugar, and salt. So today, wrecked wellness may be because of adulterated preservative foods, and may give rise to so many, paramount of things like allergies, digestive problems, malabsorptions. Interestingly, more and more patients that we speak to, so a lot of them say that, ma'am, we are not sick, but we don't feel 100%. And the moment you ask somebody that when your alarm wakes up in the morning, do you feel completely all right? And even after 6 hours of sleep, people still say that we wake up tired. So obviously, wellness somewhere is terribly wrecked. Or water that we drink, people drink less, or alcohol, or the air is polluted. There are so many lifestyle factors which go in. There is tremendous stress happening in everyone's life, which itself can cause a lot of chronic inflammation and pain. And thus what we have, plus we have all the effect of NSAIDs, and so it eventually creates a lot of havoc. Plus we have a lot of OTC drugs. During COVID also, we saw patients just went and kind of read up online, checked on what supplements, and started self-prescribing. Each of them have a tremendous impact on our gut, and today our gut is actually called the second brain. And for a lot of people who are from non-medicals, we know that gut is one of the largest organs that one has. And so it takes care of the defense, the immune function, um, early metabolism, digestion, also satiety, mood, and pain. And definitely there is a gut brain axis, gut brain talk, and all of these happen pretty much simultaneously. So when we are talking about the intestinal mucosal layer, we know that we have antibodies, the dietary proteins, physical stress, the cytokines, and at every level, when over a period of time, when because of various factors, these normal tight junctions which are there at the cell, they start getting affected. And today, when we hear this term cytokine storm, or the CRP levels being high, or IL-6 being high, what we know is that each of them start damaging this lining and create a phenomena called leaky gut or an inflamed gut. And those can actually create a lot of havoc. So thus, when we are looking at the entire diet, we know that we maintain this chronic inflammation. It can come from the diet. Today we have a lot of endocrine disruptors as well, and each of them finally start impacting a lot of health. the kind of food that we eat, the vegetable consumption, each of them are also very important. When we look at the culprits, okay, it could be poor dietary choices, impaired digestion, medications, toxins, stress, dysbiosis, infection, all on the other hand creating malnutrition. Now malnutrition can be both obesity as well as underweight. We consider all of it malnutrition today. In fact, we have the triple burden of malnutrition with us, and all leading to systematic disease. Thus an inflamed gut is where this entire crosstalk begins, and we have more and more food sensitivities, we have neuroinflammation, we have almost a cross blood-brain barrier axis. Thus, it is very important that we start looking at each of these. Now, when we look at all of this, we're looking at a 360 degrees approach of managing the diet, managing the stress, increasing physical activity. In fact, physical activity itself can reduce a lot of stress, but in Indians, we don't really do that. Also, look at today when we look at nutrition, there is a lot of nutrient reaction, there is a lot of drug nutrient reaction, and when often people are buying OTCs, they're taking drugs, either they are overdosing or the combinations are not correct. And so overall, if there is a lot of things which are actually going wrong in this whole process. Inflammation, obesity, these are two terms which go hand in hand. And today we know that the etiology of obesity can be multifold and could be, over 40 different reasons how obesity actually manifests itself. And so the whole ball game becomes even more trickier. So be it hormonal, be it just physical, endocrine. So when a person comes to a nutritionist like me, a lot of decoding needs to be done on what is the reason. So essentially, a part of it is food, but there may be so many other reasons, right? And more importantly, us being Indians, our challenges are different. We are largely vegetarian. A larger part of India still kind of, whilst we eat traditional diets which were very healthy, but somewhere there is lack of knowledge, there is a lot of cultural eating which happens, and typically whilst our traditional food is healthier, but our portion sizes are skewed, so we eat a lot of carbs. So if you look at a North Indian thali or a Gujarati thali or a Bengali thali, at every place a portion of carbohydrates are very, very high. And this is also one of the reasons why we are now kind of slowly heading into being the diabetic capital of the world. So a simple thing is, when we're looking at a plate, this is how we explain to most of our patients is, divide your plate into 4 halves. Ensure that the starch of the cereal is only 1/4, not 3/4 like this plate. Increase on the vegetables. So your raw vegetables, your cooked vegetables are very important. Increase the protein content. This is where most of us as Indians kind of really, struggle, because the plate is more carbs and less proteins. Thus, the muscle factor is lesser, and we are now slowly becoming sarcopenic. A lot of Indians have sarcopenic obesity. So very important that you choose your foods right. Look at the energy giving foods, look at the bodybuilding foods, which would come from your protein foods, and the protective food. So distribute your basket correctly. Nutrition and immunity, very important. Some of the important factors, and I just put this fun picture. If everybody saw Piku and saw Amitabh Bachchan, today people genuinely eat less fiber. And the moment you eat less fiber, and we spoke about the gut-brain axis, we speak about prebiotics, probiotics, and all of them have a physiological impact. So if your gut is not correct, automatically you are in for a whole lot of trouble. The WHO actually recommends eat your rainbow. So increase your antioxidants, your free radical scavengers. We know antioxidants are extremely important, as they help in preventing cellular damage, they react with free radicals, they terminate the chain reactions, and hence ensure that your fruits, your vegetables, like I showed in the previous diagram, at least cover half of your daily eating. Ask yourself, did I eat 400 grams of vegetable? Did I eat my one fruit? And look at reducing this entire damage which is happening. There's a lot of other environmental damage also happening today. Today we also call them, right from plastic bottles to microwaves, all of them are creating a lot of endocrine distress. And so besides the diet, these are more additional factors which create a lot of havoc. Yeah. Besides that, some of the Indian challenges we have is we eat very large meals. Often when patients come, they say, हम 2 बार खाते, पेट भर के खाते, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं खाना. All this leads to a lot of stomach stretching, which over a period of time makes the person eat more. Migration to urban cities. Today we are looking at global cuisines across the world. We're looking at low proteins. We're looking at inverse relations of foods high in polyphenols and inflammatory foods. So each of them is creating a lot of challenges in the Indian diet. Besides, as far as proteins are concerned, we genuinely eat very little protein. In fact, almost 73% Indians, even in the urban rich, eat lesser protein. So this is how India eats. This is an NNMB survey. Again, if you see over here, most of them eat very, very skim proteins. So today, when we look at solutions, a lot of solutions can actually be found in your own kitchen from your kitchen pharmacy. And when we look at immune boosting foods, when you look at your phytonutrients, like especially we see all of these mostly in the nutraceutical industry, but yes, food is the first format. If you're still lacking in it, you could then turn on to the nutraceuticals. So be it your lutein, zeaxanthin, or your resveratrols, which would come from your purple and red colored fruits, or your phytonutrients, which would come from your red, yellow, green, and orange fruits. All of them are extremely important. Thus, when we're looking at nutrition, one thing which is very important for everyone to understand is that there is not one single nutrient which is a miracle nutrient. You will have to eat a balanced diet. You will have to eat on time. You will have to diversify your entire diet. So today, when we talk about dietary diversity, we talk about at least introducing 30 different foods in the week. So you could look at the foods rather than having the same foods through the week. You diversify the food. So one dal, one different vegetable, and one different fruit. If that's the way you kind of multiply it, you've still over every meal, you've still diversified all the foods. And the food sensitivity slides which I showed you, due to repeated exposure, these drastically come down. So we have these various vitamins, which of course you could look at using natural foods coming in from natural diets on a day-to-day basis, and also make sure that these are translated in Indian recipes, right? So all of them are very important. Today we have a lot of crosstalk on prebiotic and probiotic foods. So whilst today probiotics are live bacteria which are found in food, these could be found in fermented foods and different recipes. So ensure that on a day-to-day basis these are taken. Also, a lot of herbal decoctions, herbs and condiments can be looked at to ensure that the immunity levels are high. Look at traditional spices like your ginger, your garlic, your tulsi, tomatoes. All of these are great foods as immune boosters and could be included. However, during COVID, one of the things which people did really wrong was they overdosed. So look at the correct doses so that the GI lining is not distressed. Okay. Look at other colored fruits and vegetables which give you a lot of carotenoids, especially your lycopenes, etc., which can have a lot of good antioxidant properties. Yeah. And today, a lot of doctors are also learning that one of the best ways to reduce inflammation may be actually by changing the diet and looking at some natural food solutions from the kitchen. So look at anti-inflammatory foods, your nuts, your seeds, your berries, even traditional seeds like alsi, which is a flax seed, or a chia seed, or even a fistful of peanuts. All of these could be very, very unique anti-inflammatory foods and can help a person tremendously. Okay, look at reducing all the pro-inflammatory foods which would come from excessively fried foods, too much of processed foods, and anything which has been ultra high treated. Look at homemade masalas where you can include all these anti-inflammatory foods like your nuts, your seeds. These are two masalas which I've actually created for the Indian Navy, and we've been effectively using them, just to reduce the inflammation factor in all the sailors and the officers. Look at an entire balanced way of living. Today, a lot of Gen Z people are high on snacking. People don't eat complete meals; they want to snack all the time, and that itself is a huge challenge. So, look at intelligent snacking. Either you increase your protein, your antioxidants, or your micronutrients, or on the other way, reduce your refined carb, fat, or sugar. So both the ways can be very effective ways in doing that. And we're in an era of personalized nutrition, precision nutrition, and a lot of work has been going on there. So, friends, it's time that we look at this entire nutrition landscape in a different way. A lot more innovations along the space are also coming in, which are very, very important. Yeah. Today, you can do a lot of fitness tests. You can look at a lot of mobile related apps to kind of get your personalized nutrition on track. You could look at contacting a qualified nutritionist. We have all these apps and gadgets which actually help you measure till the T. So these could be done. Look at a traditional Indian diets. I think a lot of goodness lied, was there in the traditional eating. However, when we are going on to modern diets, to westernized diets, more and more of these challenges are coming in. We are eating much more refined foods, and hence, challenges are increasing tremendously. Eating out or ordering in again is becoming a huge problem, because obviously the food is not as healthy as a home cooked meal, and so high fat foods, high sugar foods, the increased dietary age, all of these are increasing, and our disease parameters are also increasing along with it. Last but not the least, a lot of it is also your own thing. So mindful eating plays a very important role. Selecting healthier foods, enjoying the foods with a color, texture, smell, all of these are tremendously important. And today, overall, we see mindlessness has become very important. Attention span of people is shrinking in. A mobile user checks his phone almost 100 times per day. And so, our concentration towards eating food is minimalistic. So it's about time that we kind of dedicated more time towards food. Follow the Japanese principle of hara hachibo, which means that you eat only around 80% till you're full. Leave 20% for your digestive juices, etc. In that way, you also control eating. Yeah, and look at a preventive health center rather than a curative one. Curative one, of course, is very important, but side by side, proactive health screenings, counseling, nutrition, exercise, each of them will kind of help us to improve the quality of life. And look, right from school levels to adults to commercial sectors, some health strategies can be taken at every level, so that our children of tomorrow will be much more healthier and we could look at health and nutrition as in its most important thing. Today we have a concept called nutrition geometry, which encompasses all these things into a particular formula, such that we are able to, it's not only one sector but it's multi-sectoral. And it's important that this is a perfect platform on this, because we have everybody from the healthcare sector to come in and look at how we can improve health in a better way. So with that, thank you so much. This is my last slide, and it is called Recipe for Happiness. It says 2 heap cups of patience, 1 heart full of love, 2 hands full of generosity, 1 head full of understanding. Method is mix all the ingredients well, sprinkle generosity and kindness, add faith and mix well, add a dash of laughter and spread it smilingly to everyone you meet. So thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I request him to share the thank you memento on behalf of Golden Name Awards.
Now, I call upon our second respected speaker, Dr. Mahesh Mohite, Chairperson, Pediatric Intensive Care Chapter, India. And first topic is Pediatric Critical Care in Rural India, Challenges and Possible Solutions. Over to you, Doctor.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to speak in this forum. In fact, this is my introduction to this forum. In fact, I've never attended this, honestly. But then when I checked on the net and I could get some information. So thank you very much for giving this talk. So what I'm going to take is something, basically I'm placed at a semi-rural sort of place, maybe 20 years, 30 years ago when I started, it was more like a rural place. Now it is come to a semi-rural. So it's at Panvel near Mumbai. And we have seen a spectrum of population, right from village population to the most advanced kind of a urban population. And we have seen that transformation over 30 years. And I'm sure majority of India still faces those urban days, which I've seen about 30 years ago. Now, with that, so scope of the talk will be critical care in India as a representative of developing world. And contents will be where we are today in pediatric intensive care and inequality of care in urban and rural areas, and why we have the inequality and what are likely solutions that we can. I'm sure we are progressing very fast. We are having the healthcare being progressed, but still I believe there are a lot of kind of lapses and lacunae where we can do better than what we are doing today. So I'll come with a case. The 5-year-old child was brought to private nursing home in Taluka place. He had a neuroparalytic snake bite. The child came in a respiratory failure. He needs anti-snake venom and requires to be intubated and ventilated. Now look at the irony. In the PHC, they have anti-snake venom, which cannot be, as per the rule, cannot be given to the private nursing home, and they don't have a facility to ventilate this child. In the nearby private nursing home, they have ventilation on charity. They are willing to do that, but a poor patient cannot buy the anti-snake venom from outside. End effect, patient was referred to his district hospital, which is about 100 kilometers away. On the way, he dies of respiratory failure. Now, this is where I believe there should be some cooperation, coordination between the healthcare facility and the private system. So where are we today? And why this inequality between the urban and rural? Simple thing, we have a challenge of huge population which may take an advantage or a disadvantage. Disadvantage because the services which you need to cater to this 1.4 billion population today, that staying in the rural area where there is a lack of any public kind of health system relatively. Then today we have an infant mortality rate of 24/7 out of 1,000, where the developed world is lingering at 5 to 10. We have half the doctor number that is recommended by WHO for the population, and we are short by almost 2 million nurses. This is a WHO word 2017. So that's where we have a lot of laxities. The National Rural Health Mission, this is 2018. It has given the data. We have 700 population. That's almost half the population staying in our villages. 66% has no access to critical care, and almost 31% has to travel almost more than 30 kilometers to seek the health care. So those we are sitting in the urban area, we don't know the trouble they are facing deep in the interiors. Majority of deaths due to very preventable simple diseases like diarrhea, pneumonia, measles, typhoid. In urban population, perhaps we don't hospitalize also those and treated on OPD basis. But mind you, many in the deep interior are dying of this disease, and there are four common, most important killers in the deeper area. Critical shortage of trained healthcare person, and this is again one more very shocking number. 8% PSCs don't have a doctor all time to attend the patients. What available resources we have today from the intensive care point of view? We don't have a detailed PICU data, but NICU data 2018, 712 districts, 80% of them having an ICU, that's 580 districts, 762 total NICU. So few of the district may have two because there are medical colleges with that. 27 million newborns a year and almost 100,000 NICU deaths in a year. This is UNICEF data. All are very authentic data, mind you. What is the healthcare system we today have? We have these 5 stage, you can say. So at deep periphery, we got health sub-centers, then primary health centers, then rural hospitals, then district hospitals, and the state-run hospitals. Now, where do we have a PICU, pediatric critical facility? Definitely, maybe many of them are having PICU in the state hospital only. Rest of the population, almost 70 to 80%, don't have the facility of PICU. So anything goes serious here, they have to be taken to this place. Half of them, many of them, they may die on the road reaching this place because there is no facility nearby. Why we have this inequality? And these are again figure. We are globally increasing kind of a population. With our GDP is really surging, marching very fast. 2010, we were nowhere in the picture. 2020, we surged to 4th or 5th. 2019 was 5th. 2020, 3rd. And look at the climb, 9.6 billion US trillion coming to almost 30 trillion, and Brazil is poor 4th, which is almost less than half. So we are really doing excellent on a financial ground or on the economic ground. Then why this? So this is another GDP kind of things. 2019, we are 5th in the GDP. But look at the amount we spend on the healthcare. Even the poor countries, then as the Brazil and all, are spending more than 2 to 3 times. We were mere 1.41, that's the percent of our GDP being spent on the healthcare. Look at the developed countries spending almost 7 to 10%. That's where the whole problem starts. We are not spending enough on the healthcare system, the public healthcare system. And if you take in numbers, this is what the US spent, $9,403 US per person, and we are spending mere $75. And Pakistan, Bangladesh, the neighbors, they are not very far away, far behind. They're absolutely bigger. And when it comes to rural population, again, the problem is, where does the treatment take place in a rural population? 79% in urban comes from the private hospital. In the rural, almost 72% comes in the private hospital. And all this amount is to be paid by the population. And look at the amount they have to spend. In the private, they have spent a huge amount as come to the government system. And obviously, that's the reason people don't reach these systems in the periphery. They look for a government system, which is really physically very difficult to access. Lancet says it's 2018. India ranks 145th out of 196 countries surveyed for healthcare quality. And even poor Bangladesh is ahead of us in this number. So now, what is the effect of it? Where are we on infant mortality rate? Something which the target we should have achieved. 2027 was a target for 2015. That time we were 41, and today in 2021, we are about 27. We are lagging behind again because of multiple factors, the predominant being the healthcare funding allocation is not that good. We are doing bad. I won't say it will be bad. Near our independence, our IMR was 189, and which has really dropped down to what? About 20% of that. We are definitely doing well. But look at the developed countries. Even poor Sri Lanka has got much better infant mortality, something like 9 or 10, if I don't mistake. In India also, there is a discrepancy. State of Kerala has got about 9. Goa has, I think, something 15, 16. Maharashtra state has about 30, and UP, Bihar is nearing almost 45, 50. So there is huge discrepancy in the fund allocation and the final outcome of it. Now, reason for this inequality: health not on the government priority as far as fund allocation is concerned. Available funds allocated mostly for preventive care, and that's rightly so, because that's what is going to give long-term fruits. So vaccination, mother and child care, and those kind of things are immunization. Those kind of things are really focused more, and the onus for the emergency care predominantly comes on the private system. Pediatric critical care is totally neglected aspect of policymakers. poor trained manpower in the healthcare, poor transport facility in the healthcare, and all above factors suffer maximally in the rural area. Now, do we have any solutions to that? Albert Einstein say, if I have a problem to solve, then I would say I get about 1 hour to solve a problem. 55 minutes I spend on thinking about it, and 5 minutes I get a solution. I think that's where we need to really plan it well. We need to really think about the problem and then see what makes sense. So basically, we cannot be following the US and European system. We need to customize the system for our own needs to get the best products out of it. This kind of a photograph is not very uncommon in the Indian scenario. A farm lady standing in the farm, calling her son in the US and getting connected immediately. But at the same time, this is also not unusual, where a poor fellow falls sick in the deeper periphery and there is no even transport system. I'm sure the person carrying him must be having a cell phone in his pocket, but don't have a vehicle to transport this sick patient. So that's a problem. It needs a big political willpower to the scenario. This is self-funded, very aggressive industrial belt, and this is what requires a huge political public system to support, a government system support. So we need to convince our politician the child survival is more cost effective looking at long-term productivity as compared to adults. So obviously that particular aspect, the pediatric critical care, is usually neglected, and our politician need to understand. At one end they say, yeah, hamara future hai, yeah, hamara future hai, and what kind of safe kind of things. The health and education should be the most important aspect of funding to so as to have a best future for our country. What are the immediate things? What we can do is basically to make a stabilizing units in the rural area. I'm sure you can't have those big multi-specialty hospitals in periphery, but at least we should have a good stabilizing unit where the patient can be stabilized there. Then we need a good transport system so that they can be taken to appropriate center, maybe district center or a state center, and over the time put more and more funds so that those facilities can be provided at the periphery. Now, improving in existing infrastructure, that's what are the deficit. I think the electricity system is definitely improving over the time, and but still there are still, I mean, recently I've heard of some those few lakh villages are connected with electricity, but again it is not regular. When you call it as a healthcare system, we require a absolute uninterrupted kind of a supply. But barring the metropolis, go anywhere, even certain state capitals have. Recently I traveled to Jaipur and I found so many kind of regular shutdowns in electricity. Mumbai, perhaps we don't face that big problem, but periphery, yes, it's a big problem. Clean water and physical infrastructure, these are matters in government control, and perhaps this is where the government need to put a lot of funding and kind of assistance to develop these issues. They can take off care, they take help of these kind of structures where kind of natural resources of energy can be generated, the groundwater can be utilized, and simple structures can be raised. The non-conventional energy, deep soil water, low-cost customized infrastructure they can produce, and perhaps here the corporate social responsibility funds. I'm going to tell you about that. There's some fund which every corporate industry has to spend about 2% of their profits on a social responsibility. And this is where they can definitely help in creating a good health infrastructure in the periphery. Now, about the stabilizing, what can be done at the local level when it comes to peripheral centers like ours or kind of a village places, and this onus perhaps will come on the peripheral centers as well as we as a practitioners. So we can create some stabilization equipments. We can have stabilization units in the periphery which are stabilization equipment, basic emergency care training, and effective safe transport. These things will definitely help in improving the system, in giving the better health care, better emergency care in the periphery. What else can be done? So basic equipment for stabilization, the equipment and medicines having maximum impact at the minimal cost. And next statement is extremely important. Look at the things which are really essential to stabilize the child. Now, if those are working in the periphery, just imagine the scenario, get a very sick child who is gasping, and commonly with the present medical legal issues going on, people have a tendency, nahi mere paas kuch nahi hai, government mein jao, nahi to Mumbai jao. Bloody poor fellow. I mean, the poor fellow, first of all, he don't have adequate transport. Even if he has the transport, by the time he reaches there, he is in kind of a irrecoverable phase, in recovery. What simple thing can be done in periphery? Train those people in the practicing in the periphery. They can be given a simple resuscitation kit. They can be given an oxygenator which may not be easily available. Their oxygen source, and certain medicines, then antibiotics, and maybe this, half the patient we can stabilize there itself. If you cannot, at least you can give primary care and you can transport this patient to periphery. This particular statement is extremely important. As an intensive care chairperson, as an intensivist from a pediatric intensive part, most effective critical care interventions are least the resource demanding. They are more technique dependent than technology dependent. मेरे पास वेंटिलेटर नहीं है, मैं क्या करूं? मेरे पास ये नहीं है, मैं क्या करूं? वो नहीं है, क्या करूं? You can go get your basic minimal intensive care training that may be available at some kind of a corporate hospital, a government hospital, maybe a 2 month, 3 month, get yourself trained. You can easily do these 7 or 8 points, and believe me, using this, you can save at least 60 to 70% of population. And those who are transported following this stabilization, they can be saved at a tertiary care because they are given the primary management. What are they? You need to learn to recognize a sick child, and there are a separate lecture in itself how to recognize it. The hygienic care of proper hand washing, ensuring and stabilizing the airway, providing oxygen, bolus of isotonic fluid, early institution of antibiotics, and a safe transport. If you can do this effectively, most of those emergencies, half of them perhaps will stabilize at your own center in the periphery and they can be managed there. Those who cannot be, at least you can sort of kind of stop the pathology at that point of time and transport the patient safely, so that the tertiary care center can put all these efforts to save that patient. Now, focus training of the rural health workers. The common causes of mortality are these 4, where the rural healthcare workers can be trained in those particular things. So treating diarrhea, recognizing dehydration, giving electrolyte kind of supplementation, pneumonia, hypoxia management, you can give oxygen, some kind of an IV, non-invasive ventilation support. All these things are possible at even the village or taluka place. Malaria is very common now. Of course, in urban area, it's much rare, but there are certain pockets. Communicable disease epidemics. I'm sure government agencies are training their healthcare workers, but somehow that is not reaching to the periphery. And yes, still the highest killer are these 2 diseases in India. All of the workers who are working in the periphery, they can get a basic training in basic life support, the advanced life support, the neonatal resuscitation protocols, and the transport. Believe me, if all these things are given to the peripheral doctors, you can definitely improve the survival, especially in those emergency care situations. Now, as far as manpower, as I said, ALS training for every healthcare worker. Now, another thing is you need to learn the multitasking. You may not be coming across such situation every now and then, so you cannot afford to keep all those experts. So 4 nurses and 1 driver and 2 ward boys and some remote doctor and all, it may not be possible under your care. So you will have to train each of your limited number of staffs to do multitasking. What do I mean by that? Your driver can also do a CPR if required. He should be trained to do ALS, and believe me, in Western world, every lay person is trained to give a CPR. Every lay person is is trained in BLS, and we also recommend to do the BLS training for every civilian, so that the situation can come anytime. Even in the house, somebody just kind of collapses, and you should know how to resuscitate the patient. Role playing for disaster management. Recently we came with COVID, and what happened? There were lack of nurses. So they invited everybody, whether trained or non-trained. Otherwise, you go for the hospital registration, they want this many number of trained nurses, this many number of trained RMOs, this, that. And now in COVID, they took limits or kind of list of every available person working in your hospital. क्वालिफिकेशन का कोई नाम ही नहीं, बस उसने काम किया 1 साल 2 साल, बस whatever उसको IV लगाने आता है, मॉनिटर करने आता है, भेज दो. So in a disaster situation, everything is acceptable. So make your team kind of trained for that disaster, and that will definitely help you. So an interesting kind of study publication from Zimbabwe related to these civil survival, child survival. What do I say? Specific policies authorizing midwives and community health workers to deliver core life-saving interventions could facilitate reduction of neonatal under-5 mortality. So what they are doing again? Training the multitasking. Midwives will do something even beyond their limits, and health workers will do something beyond their limits. That effectively will increase the health trained manpower, and that will definitely improve the survival. And one good live example in India itself is Dr. Abhay Bang from Gadchiroli. Look at what he has done. He has adopted some 50 or 70 villages around that, and this is his very famous healthcare worker. She don't know, she has never gone to the school, she can't count. So to make them effective, to make the respiratory rate, what he has done, this kind of a hour clock. So this is 1 minute, 1 minute clock of the sand clock. And what they are supposed to during that time, they have to count the respiratory rate, and these beads are to be slid from one to other end. So one red bead is 10, second red bead coming is 20, and that is out. So anytime the rate in an infant is is more than 40, it is diagnosed as pneumonia and is given some injection. I think he used to give previously gentamicin, and now whether protocol is changed, I don't know. But look at the infant mortality rate. This is figure of 2014 to my record, whatever I could search. That time the Indian mortality rate was 39. Gadchiroli is extreme kind of a tribal rural belt, and that time the infant mortality in Gadchiroli was 29. That's the impact of what you can provide and treat this, or kind of train these healthcare workers and what they can bring. Another important thing is the transport. Absolute disaster in our country. There is no sort of a formal transport. Now it may be there in the city premises from the corporate hospital when it's given, but what rule is given to him? They are supposed to pick up from government hospital and take to the government hospital. They won't pick up from any private institution. You will create a lot of, I don't know whether it is official, unofficial, but that's what is already told you. To call them 108, they said किधर से pick up करना है? Private से, sir हमको authority नहीं है. So that system has to change. When there's a patient, sick patient, where it comes and where he goes, you expect this patient to go to the government and then to be picked up, you will be losing valuable time. That's what is the problem. I think we need to really improve our transport system. Here again, the CSR fund will help us a lot. And think it won't really take much. You have to have those ambulances, and this can be really taken. I heard that somebody from Kolhapur, some industrialist, has started some 40 ambulances out of kind of a charity, and the system is working fantastic. I think here there is possibly a good role for the industry belt through the CSR to do. Now, long-term policy, what can be done to improve this? So obviously now government has a policy to have a health kind of a medical college at every district place, a rural medical college. Perhaps that will help in increasing the number of doctors, and as the cities get saturated, you will have more and more qualified doctors in the periphery. New medical schools to start in the rural area, establish PICUs in every district hospital, and not only establish, run it effectively, increasing the paramedical manpower and training them for comprehensive multitasking, incentive for the medical and paramedical person to provide their services to rural population. I think this is again a policy maker's decision. Person working in the periphery, whether he should be given some extra privileges because he's really serving the population. So maybe in the form of taxation, maybe in the form of whatever housing and whatever kind of things, whether there can be some separate policy. I think we need to have a research promotion. Local epidemiology of disease in various zones need to be read. Seasonal and perennial disease burden and comorbidity, malnutrition especially, has to be looked after. Certain belts, Melghat, every year we listen about that. I think we need to focus on malnutrition, which is kind of a comorbidity in many of the diseases. To know the available facility, low-cost biomedical innovation need to be researched in our Apex Technical Institution, the IITs and all. Probable local solutions, so snake and scorpion bites, Prazosin SV, plastic wraps and thermocol boxes to prevent hypothermia while transporting the newborn, and home-based care, which has been practiced by Dr. Bang. Ethics, very important. Public-private partnership is extremely reliable and extremely needed in this kind of a situation. It's kind of an ethical issue, how far we can really help this population. Corporate responsibility for underprivileged, funding from international and national NGOs, prioritization of rural health issues in national and social agenda, and very important thing, ask one question to the humanity. If nature don't discriminate us while providing resources, why we should? So I think those underprivileged should be provided these facilities irrespective of caste, creed, and his financial condition. That's what should be the target ultimately. Matching the donor with beneficiaries. Believe me, there are donors who want to donate it. Their problem is the donation don't reach the appropriate population. Get Foundation is doing so much world over. Tatas are doing so much. Infosys through their services, they are so much. They want this and convince them that yes, whatever you give will be reaching the needy. It will be definitely helpful. I think these names all of us are very kind of aware of, and this. Tax Department of India mandate 2% profits of industry to be donated for social. This is what I was talking about, corporate social responsibility. That's huge, but it's misused. That can be diverted here. It's being used in various ways. I've seen certain industries making their own hospitals where again it's no more charity or maybe part charity and predominant going whatever kind of a ways the funding is diverted. But I'm sure these institutions, Tata's and Infosys, are doing a huge work wherever they are working. So friends, to summarize, we have this kind of a healthcare system, which I already said, we need to shift this to the more district and maybe to the rural and primary health center. That will be a real achievement. I suppose this is way you can really call it as a developed nation, from the developing nation to the developed nation. You need to really focus more on your health and education to be labeled as developed nation. It's not how many kind of flight systems and how many kind of airlines you have and how many big cities and how many malls you have. It's basically how many hospitals and good schools you have in a rural area. That's what counts, whether you are a developed or non-developed. So more funds for public health sector, more trained manpower, and new medical schools in the rural area. Perhaps that's what is going to change the whole system. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we move on to our third respected speaker, Dr. N. Malik Arjuna Reddy, President, Association of Southern Urologists, and sir's topic is new patient aggregators and unethical marketing crossing boundaries. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you, Golden Aim. I think it was an excellent talk from Dr. Mahesh about the rural aspects of pediatric intensive care unit. But then we also have certain issues going on in terms of things in the urban population and a lot of literate population too. And then let us see what the new segment which these people have come with as the patient aggregators are doing. I don't have any disclosures to make. Now, digitalization of healthcare was actually rapidly progressed because of COVID. So where people went into telemedicine, teleconsultations, and then we have the telemedicine guidelines coming up from the national regulator. And then the adoption of AI, which is also getting significantly incorporated into it. Majority of AI will go into pathology and radiology at this point, and also in standard diagnosis. So Springer had come up with a book of a future clinician. They have looked at what the future clinician, the next 30 years would happen. And it was in a global survey. Now they have looked at the key findings where they've identified people, and then said that 73% of clinicians globally identified in 10 years sorry about that. In 10 years, time managing public health would be a key priority. 56% of the clinicians expected much higher proportion of patients with regular mandated health checkups in future, and rising to 80% in China. So apart from that, what were the drivers of that big change? The big data. Now there's so many health care providers and so many labs which have come up. And all these labs send the reports by 181 zettabytes in 2025. So apart from that, the other findings was 74% of clinicians agreed there will be a shortage of nurses. And then the shortage of doctors. But the problem with the shortage of doctors is we cannot equate it to the whole of India. It is actually skewed in terms of the regionalization. The South actually has got more than the standard requirement, and more so in the urban areas. In the rural areas, it's not so. And the North and Northeast have got much lesser. So, and 60% of the clinicians looked at the digital health technologies and then said which will be a challenging burden. So the easily available information about the diseases and the treatment modalities from internet and social media and unqualified social media. Let me look at that very carefully. Unqualified social media influencers suggesting treatments make the general public question or become skeptical about the qualified opinions of the doctor. Now, we all know that a lot of people go through the internet and then look at their problems. And I've seen the most educated people being falling to anything which is written on the net, and they would not verify the origin of the content. So this is becoming a real problem. Now I'll show you things why this happens. Now you look at Practo. I am not going to hold myself back in terms of closing their names or choosing not to show the names, because these are the ones which people should know. So we look at the Practo, went to Hyderabad and wanted to look at a laser stone surgery. The moment I said laser, they said laser therapy for appendix. Now, where the hell this appendix has come up? There is no laser therapy for appendix. If someone has to do a therapy for appendix, it could be either open surgery, it could be robotic surgery, it could be laparoscopic surgery, and people have done notes that is natural orifice surgery, but there is no laser. No, the laser has become a very loose word to use, and then they are using it to push this gullible public to get into the surgical program which they want to do, and then make their profits. Now you look at this. Now this is something which is atrocious. You're probably looking at a surgery for hydrocele. Now you tell me, where is the thing? So the hydrocele is a swelling of the testes in the collection of water around the testes. So normal procedure makes a small 1 to 2 centimeter cut and then remove all the fluid and remove the area which creates the fluid. Now you see what is happening. When you look at both the sides, you see that there's hospital duration is long and short. There's nothing. Both are daycare surgeries. And that technology, they say, is outdated. Now this comes from Pristine Care. And that is most advanced. Absolutely misinformation campaign just to push the patient to get a surgery done, irrespective of whether he or she needs it or not. I'll also show you something. Now this other one is Glamio. Everyone jumps into the bandwagon. You see, they say that less than 30 minutes to operate the condition. There is no surgeon, if at all there is, who says that I will do this procedure within this amount of time. He is not a surgeon, because surgery first is safety. The next is to look at doing the procedure properly. If someone operates for 30 minutes or someone operates for 45 minutes, it doesn't matter. But if someone is doing it for extremely long time, then there is a problem. But these kinds of things which put them across is absolutely wrong. The same thing. Can you mute the others, please? Yeah. So now again, the same thing. You see that there is no chance of infection in laser treatment. How is it possible? They are cutting the same thing. They're stitching the same thing, except that instead of a knife, they use a laser to cut, which actually causes a lot of coagulation or ischemia or decrease in blood supply to the surrounding skin, which increases the infection. And we have had umpteen number of patients coming with infections. And I have all the complaints which have come up to as a president of the association, which I cannot put it across because of privacy issues. So a total willful disinformation and misinformation campaign, which actually cannot be punished because of inadequate regulations at this point in India. Now you can look at the Pristine Care. They say this is a US FDA approved laser procedure. This is totally bullshit. There is no US FDA approved laser procedure. And if you look at, they will talk about a blue light laser. What is a blue light laser is one which is actually used in a Blu-ray discs. It's a handheld laser. It does not suck water. And it also, it doesn't suck the water. It does not drain the accumulated fluid. It does not cut. You need a CO2 laser to cut the skin. And either way, whether you cut the skin with the scalpel or with the laser, you're going to have the same amount of complications and absolute total misinformation campaign. Now again, now you look at things for circumcision. I will show you something. They say if normal, there is nothing like open surgery or non-open surgery for a organ, penis, which is actually hanging around in the air. So these people say that there are no cuts. Normal surgery will have cut and wound. Laser has no cut and wound. This is painful, that is painless. This has got stitches, that's got no stitches. How can you cut and leave it without stitching? This is 1 week recovery, which is absolutely wrong. 4 hours post-surgery, every patient goes home, including a child, and follow-up is required. No follow-up. Any surgery you tell me where there is no need for follow-up is something which is unheard of. You need to see the patient post-surgery to see if there are any small problems, or even if he's doing good, to tell him how he should be, he or he should take care of his. Now this is it. Now you see there are stitches. You can look at the A is the post-operative wound after CO2 laser circumcision. You have stitches all around. So absolutely wrong, unethical practices. And here the Glamio says there is no way that there is no risk of infection. And all of us who are in medical field can never utilize the word never or always or never. Only time when I use is you cannot use that word, because any surgery will have some amount of associated complications, whether it could be major, minor, or minimal. There are gradings of complications, but there is no way that there can be no risk of infection. So whatever is being told, and I've been in looking at all the other kinds of aggregators in India, they all follow the same thing because there are no specific regulations. But the same thing, if you look at Amazon Care in US, they would list every detail in every part in detail. They'll give references. They will also give the complications rate and also tell them what will happen if they will get it or they will not get it. Now, again, you see this. Laser circumcision is minimal invasive approach. There is nothing like minimal invasive, total misinformation, because people will read it. Now again, now let us look at the kidney stone. Yes, there is laser for kidney stone. Here I agree. But again, what is a conventional treatment? Conventional, the only thing between the laser and conventional is you use a laser to break the stone, or you use a conventional pneumatic energy to or ultrasound energy to break a stone. And the stone has to come out on its own. And there are high complication rates because of laser, where it burns the surrounding tubes and they become narrow. We have had umpteen number of patients whom we had to correct because of the laser damage which happens to surrounding structures. And they say there is no recurrence. And you can see that, which is highlighted. How can there be no recurrence of stone? Impossible. As long as you have the kidney, there could be a recurrence of the stone. This is common sense. And people look at this and suddenly they will probably not use their brain for a second. And once you don't use the brain for a second, I'll come down how they actually bully you or convince you or push you towards surgery where actually you don't need surgery. Again, now you see what they have written. They have written that they can cause an anal fistula. If you have a kidney stone, how will the stone cause a hole into your anus? This is atrocious. This is absolutely atrocious. So now again, now see, the next segment is they will push non-urologists or the appropriate clinicians into that. The kidney stones have to be dealt by the urologists. The children had to be treated by the pediatricians. The gallbladders would be done by the general surgeons or the gastrosurgeons. Now you look at the best kidney doctors in Hyderabad. All are MS general surgery or DNB general surgery. None of the guy is a urologist. Now, whom do you approach? These are the people are on their payroll. That's why they push their names. But they will not push to the doctor whom the patient should need to be seen. So this is, again, a big misinformation campaign. Now, let us look at the prostate area. They say laser prostate surgery improves and it is a permanent procedure. How can a thing of a laser prostate be a permanent procedure? A robotic prostatectomy for cancer prostate is the one which removes the whole of the prostate. Nothing is a permanent procedure. The cancer can come back somewhere there again. Okay, so absolutely, this is a bigger problem which we are facing. Again, the same thing. There are people who are on their payroll. You see a nephrologist who actually deals with kidney failure, or people who are on dialysis is put in for the prostate laser surgery. They are absolutely physicians. They cannot even do a standard basic surgical procedure because they are not trained for it. They are physicians. How do you have a physician? You can see one which I've highlighted. You can see the one below which is also there. A nephrologist is put as a prostate surgeon. So this is the kind of misinformation which these people are unleashing on the public and making the gullible public get into that. This is again one from the Pristine Care. You look at the prostate enlargement, all of them are general surgeons. Absolutely 3 people general surgeons just because they are on their payroll. After that, they may send it the patient to whomever they want and whatever they want. Patient doesn't know. Patient, if he says that, okay, I would probably do something, and if he gets trained a little in here and there, and then does it without proper knowledge of the surgery, patient will have a bad outcome. Now again, this is another bigger thing which we are seeing. It's an experience fraud. If you look at 17 years of experience, what has happened? He has done his MBBS, he has done his MS. From 2005, he has finished his MBBS, and then he has finished his MS in 2012. But he says 17 years. That means right from time he is in MBBS, we are talking about that he is experienced. Without acquiring your degree, how can you be an expert, or how can you be a specialist? So his experience is only 5 years, 7 years. The 10 years is bogus. So this is across the state. Please check. I would request all of you, whoever looks at these sites, whoever looks at any doctor, look at what they are pushing in. It's not the doctor. He has given his certificate saying that I have studied from 2005. Yes, these people have put it like that. Please look at when he acquired his degree. If that is not there, please avoid the certain person. I'm not saying the doctor may be wrong, but what is put there has to be quantified and verified. And this does not work. And this is the kind of experience fraud they put in. So if the people, the one who is speaking there is a non-medical girl who has been trained to tell that the ureter is 2 or 3 mm. The ureter is almost 1 centimeter in the upper ureter where the stone is stuck. The lady has got no idea about the kidney. Just because I said that we have a stone, she says that the ureter is 3 mm in the uretrovesical junction, but on a standard scenarios, if for a 5.5 millimeter stone, 80% of the stones pass out normally. And now this lady is pushing, saying that it is stuck, you will need surgery, I'll put you onto someone. The standard should have been that this lady would have said, sir, you have a stone, I would like you to meet the urologist, and then he would tell you, he or she would tell you whether it needs surgery, or probably you may need whatever treatment has to be given. Now, this is the kind of bullying or probably misinformation. So there is nothing, sir. I couldn't put the whole conversation, because when I asked about the complications, the lady says that there will be no complications, and they will brief the surgeon to say that we have already briefed. Few of my colleagues have to exit these platforms because of this kind of coercion to the doctor, saying that you cannot talk to the patient. We have talked already, and we have convinced him that there can be no complications. If he says, what happens if there is a complication? We'll take care. We'll see what has to be done. We have enough deep pockets in which we can actually do all this and go to the court. We can take care of it. So this is the kind of thing. When I asked these people, I had a one-to-one meeting with the regulators of Pristine Care. They told that, sir, this girl is a little energetic. I said, no, you have trained them. How will a non-medical person know the diameter of a ureter as a tube which connects the kidney to the bladder? It's impossible. This is willfully, they have trained them to push people to get surgeries done where it is not needed. And the way they put, even for circumcision, for anyone who has a skin on his penis, they say that that is a God's mistake, you need to get it. It's well known that these aggregators are only business models, and they've created a model to con patients to push them towards surgery and fill their coffers. The online content is created for the market, and it's devoid of scientific backing. No complications of surgery is listed. The experience of doctors are falsified, and their legal responsibility is almost nothing. So this is how these aggregators work, and hope our doctors and patients also look at these carefully. Let me also tell you that nothing is 100%. Let us be ethical. I did have a talk with all of them. They said, sir, then I asked them, why have we not put the complication? They said, sir, we don't have those regulations to be done. So nothing, they absolutely need to be ethical. And today we are fighting these people because of this unethical and scenarios where they push people. And they have looked at, if you actually look at these aggregators, they are only doing the small surgeries, cataracts, small ENT surgeries, circumcision, stones, where they look at that the patients will not go to the court much, because in a major surgery, if there is a problem, they can go. Here, they would not go. Even then, these people would be away, because the problem comes to the doctor. And then there is always the hospital which they have contracted, and these people as a middleman will say, sorry, we have nothing to do with it. So thank you for this opportunity, and then hope that our people will look at the data which comes from internet much more seriously with a little more care. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
I request him to share thank you memento.
Thank you very much.
Now we move on to our award ceremony. And our first category for the event is Quality Healthcare Leader Award, Pediatrics. And the award goes to Dr. B. Vishnu Bhatt, Director Medical Research, Arupadai Vidu Medical College and Hospital, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, Puducherry. Congratulations, Doctor. Can we have a few words from you, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much for this award of excellence and leadership in healthcare for pediatrics by this Golden Aim Award meeting. I have been given 1 minute, so I will talk just for a minute. I joined JIPMER as an undergraduate student in '69 and retired as its director in 2018. And presently, I am working in Arupadai Vidu Medical College, Pondicherry, as director for medical research, which is part of the Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, Salem. And of course, my interest is mainly the patient care and my students. All along, I have been a teacher. And our research publications are about 400, and about 4 books we have edited. And I have delivered several variations. Thank you very much once again for the award. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Urologist and Robotic Uro-Oncology Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Mangesh Gundirao Patil, Consultant Urologist and Robotic Uro-Oncosurgeon, Eurocare Clinic, Andheri. Congratulations, Doctor. Can we have a few words from you, sir?
Thank you so much for the appreciation of the work. And I would like to brief about myself. I am basically a urologist and a robotic uro-oncosurgeon. I practice in Mumbai at Eurocare Clinic and Harkishan Reliance Foundation, Saifi and Bridge Candy Hospital. So far, I am part of around 850 robotic surgeries, and it is mainly done for prostate cancer, kidney cancer, and bladder cancer. So basically, the technology helps in early recovery and lesser complications to the patient. I really thank again for the appreciation, and I'll do whatever best for the society in the treatment of cancers related to the urology. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next award category is Women Healthcare Leadership Award, Dietitian, and the award goes to Dr. Shivani Sikri, founder, Nutri4Wow. Congratulations, ma'am. Can we have a few words from you, ma'am?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Chief Nutritionist and co-founder at Nutri4Wow, and I would like to give my high appreciation to Golden Aim Awards and respective council and jury for felicitating me with this award and honor. Each and every single award or appreciation I get, it motivates me and my team even more to give it back to the society by providing best in quality and ethical and trusted services in nutrition and wellness. It's a great privilege indeed. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our next award category is Outstanding Contribution Award in the field of obesity control and management. And the award goes to Dr. Shubi Hussain, founder, Health Sanctuary, brand Health Sanctuary. Congratulations, ma'am. Our next award category is Women Healthcare Leadership Award, Dietitian. And the award goes to Dr. Princy Cherian, Director and Consultant, Dietitian, Longevity Diet Clinic. Congratulations, ma'am.
Hi, thank you for the award. And I'm a consultant dietitian. I For the last 8 years, I'm doing personalized consultation with medical nutrition therapy. And thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our next award category is Women Healthcare Leadership Award, Integrative Health Nutritionist. And the award goes to Dr. Karishma Shah, Integrative Nutritionist and Holistic Life Coach, Karishma Shah Nutrition Consultancy. Congratulations, ma'am. Our next award category is Women Healthcare Leadership Award, Nutritionist. And the award goes to Dr. Nitisha Sharma, Clinical Dietitian and Nutritionist, Dr. Nitisha's Diet and Health Clinic. Congratulations, doctor.
First of all, thank you so much, Golden Name, to giving me this opportunity. I just introduce myself. I'm a qualified dietitian. I provide customized diet program for preventing lifestyle disease without any medication and supplements. I treat my patients by special and effective counseling session with diabetes, PCOS, anemia, obesity, hypothyroidism, high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, and many more. I have been counseling people in India world with personalized approach and care from years. And I have also published many scientific research papers in national and international journals. And I have also written many health articles for leading newspapers like Rajasthan Patrika, Dainik Bhaskar, India Times, and invited for many health talks on healthy diets on Radio Akashvani 91.1 FM, Radio City Jaipur 94.3 My FM, Radio City Udaipur, as well as schools, hospitals, and different organizations. First of all, thank you so much to all of you. And I just want to say one thing to all of you, that we know our food is our first medicine to treat our body. So we have to follow a well-balanced diet for our health. If you will follow, you never ill again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our next awardee is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Urologist.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. First of all, let me thank the Dynergic Business Solutions, the council and the jury for considering me for this award. I'm basically a radiation oncologist. That means a physician who is treating cancer patients with radiation. I'm personally working as an additional professor in radiation oncology at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. This is a premier healthcare center in our country. We have the world-class facilities for treatment of all diseases in our institute. My main area of interest is treating uromalignancies, and where we treat the cancers of the bladder, prostate, kidney. And I'm really overwhelmed to receive an award in this area, which is the area of passion for me. Finally, let me thank Dr. Fareen Khan and Mr. Asar Faruqi for considering me for this prestigious award. And I would like to dedicate this award to my dear patients who made me worthy for this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Urologist and Kidney Transplant Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Rajiv Kumar Sethia, Associate Director and HOD Department of Urology and Kidney Transplant, Asian Institute of Medical Science, Faridabad, Haryana. Congratulations, doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Urologist and Kidney Transplant Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Vikas Agarwal, Director and HOD Urology, Uro-Oncology and Kidney Transplant, Akash Healthcare, Dwarka. Congratulations, doctor. Can we have few words from you, sir?
Thank you very much for giving me this appreciation. And to brief, I'm Dr. Vikas Agarwal, and I'm heading the Department of Urology, Uro-Oncology and Kidney Transplant at Akash Healthcare. So I have the experience of more than 500 kidney transplant, and my main area of interest, live donor transplant and laparoscopy. And besides that, I'm working on the cadaveric kidney transplant program or multi-organ retrieval. and we do many of the laparoscopic and the laser surgery. And thank you very much once again for this appreciation, and hope this will be motivating for me for further patient care. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Urologist and Renal Transplant Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Muhammad Shahzeb Faridi, Associate Professor Urology, Hamdard Institute of Medical Sciences and Research at HAHC Hospital, New Delhi. Congratulations, Doctor. Can we have a few words from you, sir?
A very good afternoon. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Shahzeb Faridi, and I'm working as an associate professor in the Division of Urology, Department of Surgery at Hamdard Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. And my interest of working is regarding urology is reconstructive urology and andrology. And I'm in depth thankful and honored to the jury of Iconic Healthcare and Golden Aim Awards who selected me for this prestigious Golden Aim Awards. And at the end, I just want to thank all of the jury members. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Radiation Oncologist and Genitourinary Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Trinanjan Basu, Senior Consultant, Radiation Oncology, HCG Cancer Center, Mumbai. Congratulations, Doctor. Can we have a few words from you, sir?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much to Golden Aim Awards and the jury for selecting me. It was actually a pleasant surprise about 10 days back, and the moment you get any email for awards, the commonest thing strikes in your mind whether some monetary transactions are involved or not. So very stupidly, I even revert back the same. And then later on, I realized in detail. So pardon me for that, because these things have turned so common. So again, my sincere gratitude, and I'm really humbled that it is really a talent search, and based on whatever work you have done. In my bit to say, I'm primarily trained in MBBS and in post-graduation from Calcutta. Then I have my trainings from Tata Memorial, Mumbai, and then I'm working as a consultant radiation oncologist and now a senior consultant in HCG Cancer Center, Mumbai, with nearly 15 years experience in radiation oncology field. Uro radiation oncology has been one of my key interest area. We do a lot of high-end technologies like SBRT for prostate, moderate hyperfractionations, trying to spare quality of life with non-invasive, non-surgical methods and give equal outcome. This definitely is a motivation to do more. I'm already part of many multicentric studies and consortiums and different meetings. So thank you once again to Golden Aim and all the jury members for motivating, and probably will be able to keep the good work in future again. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Urologist. And the award goes to Dr. Digvijay Singh, Senior Consultant Urology, AIMS and Kidney and Stone Center, Nawashar, HBS Navar. Congratulations, Doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Mahendra Singh, Department of Urology, Associate Professor, AIMS, Jodhpur. Congratulations, Doctor. Can we have a few words from you, sir?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Mahendra Singh. I am an associate professor in Department of Urology at AIMS, Jodhpur. My main area of interest is reconstructive urology and kidney transplantation. I previously worked at Safdarjung Hospital and Sir Gangaram Hospital, Delhi. So thanks a lot to organizer for considering me for this award. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Priyank Kothari, Consultant Uroandrologist and Assistant Professor, Department of Urology, DYL Nair Hospital. Congratulations, Doctor.
For the Golden Aim jury and the committee for giving this award. I'm an assistant professor at Department of Urology in Nair Hospital, and my primary interest is andrology and innovations in andrology. Currently, I head the andrology subspecialty at my department, and would like to develop andrology as a specialty in the department and develop a fellowship program in the future. Thank you to the jury once again.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Shashank Kamath, consultant urologist and andrologist, ASK Urocare and Mind Clinic, Tunga Group of Hospitals. Congratulations, Doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Uro-Oncologist and Robotic Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Saurabh Bhargava, consultant uro-oncologist, Mazumdar Shaw Cancer Center, NH Health City, Bangalore. Congratulations, Doctor.
Thanks a lot for this. I think lots of people have talked about the ethics around medical practice, and I think that is the key, especially when you are doing very complex work. People should be very aware of what your patients want, and that is why we are all here. And I would like to thank all my patients who have helped me to achieve whatever little I have, and obviously to Golden Name for giving me this award and recognizing the little work that I've done in the field. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next award category is Iconic Healthcare Leader Award, Urologist and Laparoscopic Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Sagar Bhalerao, Consultant Laparoscopic Urologist, Bhalerao Clinics. Congratulations, Doctor. Our next award category is Quality Healthcare Leader Award, Pediatrics. And the award goes to Dr. Kalyani Mohan, Specialist Pediatrician and Neonatologist, MOH Sultanate of Oman. Congratulations, Doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Sandeep Mohan Telkar, Pediatrician and Founder, Director, Equipoise Learning Private Limited, Certified Emotional Intelligence Research and Training Organization, EQ Coach and Mindfulness Practitioner, Massachusetts Medical Center, Boston, USA. Congratulations, Doctor. Can we have a few words from you, sir?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for this award, Golden Name. I would like to thank all the jury members for selecting. I've been doing this work in the field of emotional intelligence for last more than 1.5 decades. And I sincerely feel that the skills of emotional intelligence and mindfulness are the key skills, which are essential skills, which are required for each and every person, right from childhood to adult, for thriving and flourishing in this 21st century full of challenges. And our organization Equipoise, which I have founded way back in 2006, has been doing comprehensive work in this field of emotional intelligence in children, families, and of course in healthcare also. And I dedicate this award to my team, my trainers who have been training, and of course the researchers who have been doing a pioneering research in this field of emotional intelligence in children. Thank you so much for giving this award, and I would like to thank, of course, congratulate my other awardees also, and thank the jury members again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. B. Subha Rajnikant, Head of the Department Pediatrics, Deputy Medical Superintendent, Srinagar Thi Thambigai Medical College and Hospital, Faculty of Medicine, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. Congratulations, ma'am.
Good evening, all. First of all, I thank the Golden Name Awards jury members and the council for conferring this award. It's a big motivation for healthcare people like us. I'm a pediatrician for the last 15 years, and I have special interest in teaching and research. So I am the head of the department, and I'm also the Deputy Medical Superintendent in Sri Lalitambikai Medical College and Hospital, which is a Faculty of Medicine of Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. Thank you so much, Golden Name Awards. It's a big motivation for us to achieve more. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my team members, my teachers, my patients, and my family. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our next awardee is Dr. Namish Savaria, pediatrician, Dr. Namish Savaria Child and Newborn Clinic. Congratulations, doctor. Can we have few words from you, sir?
So first of all, I would like to say a big thanks to Golden Aim and the Dynergic Business Solutions for giving us this recognition and appreciating our efforts. And I've been working since last 20 years, and it was all a silent work and silent efforts. And I'm really thankful Golden Aim to give this award. And I would like to dedicate this award to my family, who is always besides me. And this award will go a long way. It will motivate me to do all the good work, to do the best to my patients and to the society in general. Thanks again. Thanking you a lot, Golden Aim and Dynergy Business Solution.
Thank you so much, doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Ravi Tyagarajan, consultant pediatrician, Dr. Ravi's Clinic and Nursing Home. Congratulations, doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. P.P. Karthik, senior pediatrician and neonatologist, Vrindavan Hospitals. Congratulations, doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Anil S. Kale, managing director, Anand Medical Foundation, Nursing Institute and Hospital. Congratulations, doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Rabindran Chandran, consultant neonatologist, SRMC Medical College. Congratulations, doctor. Can we have few words from you, sir?
A big thanks to Golden Aim Awards and Business Solutions for this recognition. And I'm basically from Chennai, and I did my DNB neonatology from Rainbow, Hyderabad, and genetics fellowship from CMC Vellore. And I had special interest in developmental neurology, so I finished it from Trivandrum and pursuing adolescent pediatrics now. And over a period of last learning, we learn new things and we keep on learning. So we have been reading all the various doctors, but only few recognition we get apart from the patient's love and care. And this is one recognition which helps us to boost ourselves and move forward. So this this type of awards means a lot to us. And I'm thankful for all my teachers, my family and my friends and my well-wishers. And I hope Golden Aim Awards will be a big motivation in the future also. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you so much, doctor. Our next awardee is Dr. Taman Laha, senior consultant child specialist and neonatologist, Apollo Hospital, Apollo Multi-Speciality Hospitals Limited. Congratulations, doctor.
Yes, I'm Dr. Laha, a senior consultant pediatrician in Apollo Multi-Speciality Hospital, Kolkata. I started my journey around 1983, and then I passed DCH MD, DCH UK, Australia, and I'm recently a senior consultant, a faculty in DNB and internal examiner. And I'm also the examiner of a postgraduate pediatrics training program in Australia. And I'm taking regular classes, and I started my journey along with the other people in the government sector, the PSC. I started from a very grassroots level. And right now I'm a senior consultant in Apollo, as I told earlier. So this is a real boost to my life. This award, previously I thought it might be some hoax, because nowadays, every year something is coming, because it came like a blue, bolt from the blue. But it was a real nice thing to see. I was on the program for last one hour. So I'm seeing the renowned persons for getting these awards. I'm at the same bench right now. This is great motivation for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, doctor.
Okay.
Our next awardee is Dr. Nilanjana Paramani, consultant pediatrics, Zenith Super Speciality Hospital. Congratulations, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the award. I am Dr. Nilanjana Pramanik from Kolkata. I'm doing practice here for last 15 years, doing my post-graduation from Kolkata Medical College. And I'm so much thankful and obliged to all of you people to give me that award. Thank you.
In my lab, I have always learned to anticipate with a positive thought. No matter how hard the work tomorrow is a fresh opportunity to make it better. At the end, every step must affect forever. Maybe I have to inspire some postcards next year. With this now, we come to an end of this award ceremony and today's prestigious webinar. Thank you to all the awardees present among us.